the question I'd like to throw out there is, what are your biggest hurdles? As a maybe question mark. Let's just keep it moving. We can certainly have a discussion. What are your biggest hurdles? What are you facing? So coaching the team when I'm learning how to be a Scrum Master. Anybody +1 on that? What is the difference between a coach and a Scrum Master? That's a good place to start.
Is that like a question for everyone to answer, or?
Yeah.
So a coach is knowledgeable, right? A coach knows how to get the best out of someone they're training. And being a coach is part of the role of a Scrum Master. So when you're new, at least this is my experience back then, oh my God, how am I supposed to coach people when I just became a Scrum Master and I'm learning how to be a Scrum Master? They don't believe me. They're listening because, they have to, because I'm the one that's doing these meetings. Oh God, events. You got to facilitate those. Oh geez. I mean, that was like one of the biggest things. Yeah. And then having that one team member that just was not trying to hear it because they knew you were new.
Yeah.
So it was just crazy.
So being new, and obviously you feel like an imposter. You probably feel green. I guess is a good word, lack of a better word. So what do you do about that? How do you overcome that obstacle? Because that is 100% common. And not just with being a Scrum Master, any role that you step into, but let's focus on the Scrum Master. How do you get past that? What are some things that you have done? And you meaning everybody that's on the call here. Mm-hmm. What are some things that you've done to help yourself get over that hurdle?
I study a lot. I read a lot. I listen to a couple of podcasts as well, like the Scrum Masters Toolbox and that kind of thing, just to get some added perspective. I think the perspective of people who've been in the role for a while, or even other new people who may be facing the same challenges you are, can help sort of guide the decisions that you make in sort of the challenges as you start to face them that maybe you didn't foresee at the time. So groups like this also are going to be, I think, helpful to overcoming that here.
Yeah. Absolutely. I dove right into books, audiobooks, Scrum Mastery from Good to Great by Jeff Watts. I'm replaying that constantly, even though it's been there 3 years. Trying a lot of different things. The team got a kick out of that. So they've begun to respect the fact that, oh, okay, she's getting it and she's trying all these funny, weird things. So, okay, we'll give her some support. So that won them over when they saw, this effort of just trying and reading and
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. With you, Dylan, on that.
Anything else?
For me, it's about reading, constantly reading to be sure that I'm always a step ahead. So I don't go there sounding dumb, especially since they know you're new and trying to get up to speed. So reading, joining community of practice, just like this one, has helped me to overcome the hurdle.
Yeah.
You also said imposter syndrome earlier. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Affirmations every day to believe that I am somebody, whatever it was, I mean, all the time. Imposter syndrome is awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I come out of it.
So how do you take that knowledge, because you can read books, you can watch videos, LinkedIn Learning, certification. How do you take that knowledge and then transfer that into having the courage to try those things?
I think a lot of it is just building up on, the pillar of empiricism to say, hey, we're always able to fall back on something else that may have worked better if this turns out to not work, and just really utilizing that ability to change and flexibility to your advantage, and just using that for confidence to say, if this doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. We'll find something else that does work or that may work better,
Yeah.
Put a check on all of that.
+1, as they
Plus
say where I work. Is that corporate speak or
+1?
+1? I never heard that until I started working for Wells Fargo. So
Really?
maybe it's their thing. I don't know. So that's a thing, right? The jargon. The jargon. So there's the technical jargon, there's the culture jargon, there's the agile jargon. So how do you master that jargon? Because it's
Everything
almost
you
like when you
mentioned.
start using the words, people all of a sudden see, oh, she knows what she's talking about. Oh, he knows something. He knows our language.
I mean, it's like you read these books, you're listening to people use the correct terminology. I want to sound like I'm legit, so I reference what it's actually called. I'm not asking about your item, I'm asking about your user story. This is Scrum framework, not just, well, we're just doing Scrum. No, it's utilizing the actual word that was purposed for the event that we're going to do. Always using those words help them also to show that I know what I'm talking about, and I'm also teaching them with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that also helps to enforce some kind of adherence to not falling back into the old ways of doing things. And that's coming from, I guess, more of an experience in a new transformation to Agile completely, not just to specifically the Scrum framework, but my team was making a complete transition from an older waterfall approach into the Scrum framework directly. And I think using the vocabulary helped to kind of reinforce in people's minds that this is the new thing that we're doing. And it helped a little bit to get away from some of that more natural reversion to fall to where things were comfortable.
Not that you should go anywhere, but that's an excellent interview question that you will hear. Understanding the difference, especially since you've gone through that transformation with waterfall and Scrum framework.
Yeah.
Hold on to that one.
Yeah.
That's huge, right? So standing up new teams, agile transformation. But also as a Scrum Master, I mean, you're going through your own transformation. So how do you keep yourself on that road? Because you hit your own hurdles or roadblocks or impediments. So how do you keep yourself on that journey, especially when you want to quit?
Mhm. As much as I would love to answer that question, I love hearing others. So I'm going to
Yes.
Come on, y'all. Contribute. You're new, but you matter. I wanna hear from
Yes.
you too.
That's it. Coming to this forum, this is exactly, thank you, Cindy, for saying that. This forum is designed to help you learn how to say things for the first time, get comfortable speaking so you can go into that team and say it for the second time, right? Not the first time. You say it the first time here, you screw up, whatever, it doesn't matter. Work it out here and then go say it to your team, like legitimately. And then they're like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Mhm.
So how do you keep showing up, especially when you feel like an imposter? When you want to crawl under a rock, like this didn't work, but I still got to show up the next day and get them to trust me that this next thing that we're going to try works. What do you do to protect yourself and keep yourself in the right headspace to keep going? So what works for you?
It's really difficult. I'm an intern, so I'm following someone else's lead. But the one piece of advice I keep getting from all the professionals that I've been talking to, whether it be, the Scrum Master who's mentoring me, or, the product owner or whatever, they always say, fake it till you make it. And I think that's all I've been doing thus far, because you can get the knowledge from, studying the Scrum Guide and, reading the books and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, it's real life is a little different from what you might read on paper. And yeah, so I've just been faking it till I make it, and watching what my mentor does and trying to replicate that as best as I can. And then, when hopefully if I do, after this internship get a job, I'd have to figure it out, what feels comfortable for me and my team if I, do this after. But yeah.
You don't sound sold on that, which is what's bugging me, because you don't
You
have to
said
fake
if.
it. You really don't.
Yeah.
You don't. There's YouTube videos where people are showing you, talking about what they do.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, because I'm so young, I think that's something that gets me, because I don't understand. I just graduated college with a psychology background, so this is completely different than what I'm used to. So,
But it's
like,
not.
I mean, the people aspect of it, yes, but when people are talking like the technical jargon and stuff, so
Yeah.
it's like it's hard for me to know, is this like relevant to the meeting we're having right now? Am I supposed to, because it's hard to facilitate if you don't completely understand what they're talking about. So I'm working on catching on to the words that have been repeated, or like I don't know, like they're like, we're using this program, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this has been talked about 5 times in this meeting, I should know what it is by now. But yeah, it's just, I think because I'm so young, I feel, again, the imposter syndrome. Like, my mentor went away for like a week, so I had to take care of like the stand-up meetings and some of that. So it was just like, oh, I don't know, like it's the confidence thing. I just feel like if I do make a mistake, like I can learn from it, but I don't want to, like, because it's an actual project, it's an actual team that's happening. I don't want to like get in anyone's way while I'm learning.
And that's so okay. Give yourself permission to make a mistake. You're human. What are they going to do? Kill the project? No, it's fine. That's how, honestly, the confidence that I have and I talk about today is because when I was you, I just stayed in books and tried things. And I got a question. I don't know. It might sound stupid, but let me ask it anyway, because that's the only way you're going to learn. That's the only way. And keep pushing yourself. The biggest thing that really helped when you feel that moment that, oh, this is going to sound stupid. For me, that's a fear that I got to overcome. And I use fear to push me. So when I feel it, it's like, oh crap, I got to ask a question.
And you got to make yourself do it.
But do it. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. But put yourself out there. That's the only way. That's why I said don't fake it. You don't have to. They know you're young and you're.
I was gonna say, how old are you? Because I'm 23.
I just turned 22 like last week.
One thing my friend told me is just don't tell them your age. Just let them guess. Pro tip.
Dylan, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that I got, and I can't remember exactly where this came from because it was before my time even as a Scrum Master, so it may have been during my time in ROTC. But as far as like being within a leadership role or a coaching guidance role, the best thing that you can do to really get the guidance that you feel you need for what direction to take with what you're doing, based on what I heard from you, Malia, is to just listen hard enough to what your team tells you, because the harder you listen, the more you'll just hear what it is they need from you. And you'll have your guidance of the Scrum Guide and whatever it is that you read or listen to on books and podcasts, and that's going to help you to accomplish what it is that they need from you. But when you feel like you're looking for the guidance of what to do next, that's the best place to find that. It's just by listening to what they're telling you.
Yeah. And what I would say is, I just want to say, Malia, it's awesome that you have an internship, because it is very hard to get a job if you don't have experience. So that is a gift.
Yeah, I was really shocked
a
that
gift.
I came across Scrum because it's not very many.
So, like, I don't want to say milk it for all it's worth, but probably the
Oh,
bad
no,
thing to say,
I'm
but like
definitely milking it for all
really,
it's
really
worth.
learn everything you can, get the confidence, and then go out and get the darn job
Mhm.
because you're ahead of the game.
Yep.
And
Deja.
yeah, using this internship as a learning opportunity, because if I was to end up like somehow like, you know, having gotten the certification and then like just getting a job, like it's really hard. But if I was to, I would have no idea what I'm doing because I haven't had any experience in it. So watching like my mentor work and then being in the other like agile community practices, like getting to listen to what people are doing, it's definitely really helped.
Yes.
A stand-up
Awesome.
meeting, like I would not know how to do like a backlog refinement. I have no idea how to do any of that stuff, but I'm definitely like, I'm learning a lot from the internship, which I'm really grateful for.
Awesome. Deja, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was gonna say internship is great. Honestly, I need to do an internship to be honest. But the route I was gonna take, well, a lot of people were telling me I should sign up for a project manager role first and then step into a Scrum Master position. I've been hearing that a lot. I don't know, but I was gonna do that.
I'm noticing a lot of project managers try to become Scrum Masters, actually.
I know, I seen that too. So I was like, I don't know what's going on.
And
It
just to
it
jump
is a
on the
way.
bandwagon about the internship thing, one little extra thing to add, there are such competition to get a Scrum Master job. So you are so far ahead of so many people.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of developers that try to become a Scrum Master. I mean, it's a pretty darn cool job. Oh, there's one. I mean, I was one. Yeah. So yeah, you're in a great position.
Yeah.
So
Competition is crazy.
milk it.
I think project
Question.
management is a way to get in, but it's a very different job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very different. So you've got to be aware of that. And unless you maybe go to like agile project management, which is like the next step, and then Scrum Master, I'd say it's easier, but it still can be very challenging.
Yeah.
So
I just want
really
to echo that. I just want to echo that. I think it's a bit tricky when you have project manager and Scrum Master on your CV. I say that because I got asked by one of the recruiters the other time saying, "Oh, we see that you are an agile project manager and then / Scrum Master. We are actually looking for just a Scrum Master because how then do you make that what's the word he used? How do you make that switch? When are you a Scrum Master to your team and when are you a project manager? So it's a very thin line, even though it might be a good way to get in, but just like Patty said, there are two different roles. So some recruiters would just rather have you being a Scrum Master than being both coming from an agile project manager and then transitioning to being a Scrum Master.
yeah. So
Right.
it is a way, I will say that.
I was gonna
My
ask
sister,
Malia,
who's
for your internship, did you just find it on LinkedIn or was it through like a family friend or?
Oh God, I went to all the sites, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed. I think it was Indeed actually.
Actually, I actually did sign up for one on Indeed today, actually.
The company I'm working for, VF, apparently they've never had a Scrum Master before. I'm like the first. There's like, I guess they're using me as a guinea pig to see if it works. But yeah, there's very limited like amounts of internships out there. Like I was surprised that I could get into this one because like the competition is very fierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do recruiting also for my company. And every time there's a Scrum Master role that opens, the floodgates of resumes, the floodgates. And you're right, I have never seen an internship for a Scrum Master. That would have been kind of cool, some years ago, but not, nope.
Yeah.
All
right. Let's bounce to this other one. It's hard to interrupt the professionals when they're talking because I don't always know what is important to the discussion and what is extra talk. Yeah, I struggle with that too.
When I was a newbie, yeah. Not anymore though. It's okay, guys. It's been about a minute and we want to time box this daily scrum. But yeah, it's because you also are listening to for those issues, maybe impediments that they're dealing with, blockers or whatever. How can I jump in and help? So
Yeah.
it's hard when you're a newbie.
One thing that I've found as a way to sort of circumvent that issue a little bit is to try to get the team in the habit of speaking in specific questions so that whenever a question gets answered and things start to go off on those tangents that they always seem to take, they start developing a habit of recognizing it themselves. And one thing that we tried to sort of enforce that habit at first was to keep a board of what was being talked about, like what question was asked. And then when something started to go away from that, they would put that as a next item on the list as something to be discussed. And then by the time they finished answering the first question, they would circle back around and say, is this still something we need to talk about? And obviously in the context of a daily scrum, those things would be sidebarred to something else because they wanted to make sure that they could fit what needed to be discussed within that time box, but it gave them an itemized list of things to talk about outside of the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your role is to keep the time box. So you can just say, I want to point everybody's attention to the time. It's been 10 minutes. Are we ready to move on? Right. And a lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole. Let's take this offline. Right. So you just got to keep them in check. But it's hard to interrupt because you're like, I don't want to interrupt the conversation. It sounds like it's going well, but it's your job to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you got to grow a pair and just do it. And then they start saying like, oh, wait, Patty's going to interrupt us. We better take this offline. So you just got to do it a few times and then you get over it.
Yeah, I have this time box for the daily scrum. And then I set time aside for people afterwards if they want to keep going. Yep. And invite others. If you want to stay, feel free to stay. But if you want to drop off. Daily scrum is over. This is for additional people that want to keep talking. And I'll just leave them there. And they'll talk however long they want. But yeah, it's hard when you're a newbie. Honestly, it probably took me over a year to get there, maybe even longer. Just that whole confidence about just, oh man, I might be interrupting at the wrong thing. Oh gosh, this is definitely going to be mad that this individual contributor is interjecting into his team. I mean, it took a while, but I think if I had understood some tools earlier, it would have been easier. Like this, you know what, Patty, it's all your fault. You should have started this 4 years ago, right?
Well, I
would have been good.
Let me get my time machine. No. Yeah, I mean, it is. You just have to just keep going. And what I remind myself is they hired me to do this. They hired me. I look at the job description. They hired me to change things. They hired me to challenge things. It's like my mantra. I keep reminding myself. And if you get in trouble and they don't want you to do it, well, then maybe you need to look for another company. But that's what I tell myself. I'm here to do this. I'm here to change these things that don't work for people and they can't get out of their own way. And it's my job to help them, coach them out of that situation so they can do their work.
Absolutely.
So, well, I thought let's turn the conversation a little bit. Just kind of go around the room. What are your biggest win, or what is the biggest win this week that you felt like I just need to tell somebody about this? So what did you overcome and how did you do it? And then of course we can all listen and learn from each other. And nothing is too small, especially when you are just starting out. So I just want to normalize that.
I think honestly, it was the example I gave with the daily scrum and the 15-minute time boxing and having this after this, I literally call it after the daily session for people to keep talking if they want to. Because I know that if I don't at least guide them in that direction, somehow that conversation is not going to happen like it probably should have anyway, organically. And then I was really excited to know that others that I invite, because I invite the whole project team, come on in, let's do this. We're a big family. Although some would contribute when they shouldn't have, or they would interrupt conversation like a project manager, you know, and I let them know, hey, listen, I'm happy you're here. Feel free to observe, but this really is for the development team to talk about what they're doing. So if you can wait till the after the meeting, then have fun. So I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's organizing it, because in the retrospective, that's one of the things that I kept hearing. Why can't we have a 15-minute daily scrum? Because y'all keep talking.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go with this, Cindy. I was going to say, what caused you to decide to do that?
Retro.
And retro, awesome.
Yeah.
So it came up and you said, this is a roadblock for the team. Let's try this. And you're
Yep.
saying it's working.
So far, we're only in week 1 and it's happened
Okay,
like
well,
2 times.
hey, it's always great when you try something and it, you know, you have success, because that gives you confidence that like, hey, I know what I'm doing here.
Mhm. Mhm. And then it helped to read the guide again for the 100th time to see that, because you know they changed the guide last year, right? And to see that little line that, you know, others can join and observe, but they shouldn't talk. I was like, why didn't I see that before? Oh, this is great. Put some roadblocks up for them, and then they'll just watch. So it was good for me to read that again, and it's so far working for the team to adhere to the time box.
Awesome. All right, who's next?
It's not a win yet. So my mentor asked me to put together like a little training session for the team. And I chose my topic to be the daily stand-ups, because I've been noticing that a lot of people do get off track, or they won't answer the 3 questions that, you know, they give more status updates on the tickets as opposed to really like, this is what I did yesterday, or, you know, before this meeting and stuff. So I'm starting the training tomorrow and then doing it throughout the week. So hopefully that goes well, but I'm pretty proud of my training. Like the presentation I put together, spent way too much time on it, making it look pretty. But yeah, I'm excited to do it and, you know, see what people have to say.
That's awesome experience. Wow. Incredible. Well, next week, I mean, you're going to let us know how that went.
Yes, most definitely.
That is a big deal to do that. So kudos.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing how it went. And of course we can retro and talk through it with you, and always continuous improvement, right? Excellent. All right. Who's next?
I can go next.
Sounds good. What you got for us?
Yeah, so for me, it was the PI planning. I was told last week I had to do a presentation before over 60 Scrum Masters for the PI planning, because they're using skilled agile framework for the organization. I was a bit nervous, reason being I'd not done PI planning before, and there were some technical bits. They wanted me to call out dependencies here and there. I was like, I just joined this organization. What dependencies? Where am I getting all this information from? And my product owner was like, oh, it's just light touch. There's no dependency to call out. But I was just scared. I didn't want to go in front of everyone and make a fool of myself. Well, I kept trying to read up and asking for help from different people. And yeah, today I did the presentation and it was beautiful. It was good. I did it very well. I'm very happy. I'm proud of myself.
Outstanding. again, that's a huge compliment as a new Scrum Master. Like I don't know, I didn't get that opportunity. So that's awesome, right? Do it right away, get the wiggles out. Then the next time you're gonna nail it even more. And then that goes on your resume. Like, look what I did as a first-year Scrum Master. That's awesome. Super awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, who else? We got 2 more folks.
Guess I'll go. So I'm pretty new in the Scrum Master world, but I guess a win this week is I've been joining a lot of Facebook groups, networking through Twitter, and I met a lot of professionals giving me tips. So I consider that a win.
Yeah. What is the most impactful thing that you've learned?
Some people told me to do like a mentorship, and I actually met a lady that actually does have a 4-week mentorship. Some people were telling me just continue to apply and put my name out there, and don't be afraid to ask questions through LinkedIn. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that people have said that have really surprised you? Like, it seems like out of left field.
No, not really. 'Cause I just feel
Okay.
like at this point it's really about who you know,
Mhm.
really who you know. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, excellent. All right. Finally, Dylan, you're up.
Yeah, I guess that leaves me left. So like I said earlier, I've kind of lately been a step back from the actual Scrum Master position. So mine's a little out of the box in that context, but it goes more towards advice towards some of our management as we progress towards the large scale Scrum framework and making that transformation. The person that I report to, my boss, and I were having a discussion about the next stages of our project with more in-depth quality analysis and that kind of thing, putting onto the project that we're completing now. And she had recently given me a book to read. It was called The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. It's an older book from the 80s, and it's focused on the law of constraints in manufacturing, because I work for a company that makes enterprise resource planning software for primarily manufacturing. So I was able to put a lot of my insights into the context of that book, and basically pointing out that we're making a lot of local optimizations to enhance the throughput of just our little part of the system that's actually just creating increased backlog and additional problems at other places within the way our gears turn. And so I was actually able to kind of think about things in terms of the book and was able to kind of suggest some changes as we move into the large scale Scrum about how we can sort of make teams more cross-functional moving forward, so that we stop running into these kinds of roadblocks now that we're kind of being given more free reign to integrate entire teams within the company, instead of just our team being a little trial Scrum pod that it's been for that whole time.
Yeah, and getting the mindset shift around cross functionality. I mean, I deal with that. I stand up new teams, so I feel you with that. It's hard to, because everybody is used to working in their silos,
Right.
right? So it's like, okay, let's share knowledge, let's help each other, and it's a big shift. So kudos to you for tackling that.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Wait, what's yours?
Mine, the big win for the week. Oh yeah. I had to participate in that too. That's a really good question. So I am, as I mentioned, I help stand up new teams, and in the standing up of new teams, a lot of things shift and change. They realize, oh, we should have done things this way, or this is the wrong person for the role, or whatever. So long story short, there's 3 teams in my portfolio and they're like trading marketing owners. So I've been tasked with managing the I don't want to say baton passing, but you learn from this person and still keep your stuff in motion and then pass knowledge to the next person. So it's going really well, but it's
knowledge
it's
transfer,
crazy.
right?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
knowledge transfer. So just KT sessions.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, but there's still an agile transformation. So it's like there's stuff still being dumped on them at the last minute, right? They're still like struggling to get the sprints out the door on time. So there's a lot of moving parts in addition to that transfer. And they're transferring to teams where, the organization makes their decisions, right? They're all transferring to new work. So they don't know anything about the work that they're taking over. And they're freaking out and they're like trying to go to old meetings and attend new agile events. And I'm trying to keep the calm and like say, okay, let's do one thing at a time and kind of coach them through that transition. So, but again, like, was that part of the job description? No, but when you're passed an opportunity to learn a new skill, I mean, take it, right?
Got it.
Add that line item to my resume and something that I can talk about in interviews. Like, we made this because it's disruptive to a team and it's disrupting 3 teams, right? And one of them is a really, really new marketing owner. So they're like, how do I have the courage to step into this role when I don't know the work and I don't know how to do this? And right, we're shifting from project management to agile. So
Yay.
but it's, jump on in and figure it out.
That's the way it is.
And you
Big
got to just
companies,
show
that's
up and say, of course I know how to do this. And then you just figure it out as you go along, but you show up with the attitude like, of course I know how to do this, but I've never done this before.
That's it. Very true statement.
But I think it takes a lot of like falling on your face and standing up again, like repeatedly, to gain the confidence, like, of course I can take on what you're asking me to do. It just takes time to get to that place. So
Congratulations.
thank you. All right, in the final minutes, I thought we'd go around again, round robin. What is your goal for the week? So if this were to be like, a little mini sprint planning, what is something that you want to tackle over the course of the next 7 days?
Well, for me, some of the changes that I was recommending in my last answer are things that we really could and should be putting in place as soon as possible to make life easier for ourselves down the line and everyone else down the line. But the way I put it to my manager is it's the kind of opinion that's going to get me burned at the plugin stake for our plugin project team, because it's a lot of saying, hey, this is going to make work go slower for us in the localized section, but it's going to improve the overall throughput of our system. So my goal is to get my people to accept that they have to work harder and have lower metrics for the time being to improve the whole company.
So what are you planning to say to sell that to them?
Working on it. I have till Tuesday.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing about it next week, but it is sometimes this role involves sales.
Right.
Selling stuff. And that's a weird word to use, but good
I doubt
luck,
I
Dylan.
can. Thank you. I doubt I can get them to listen to 20 hours of audiobook like I did. So
there you go. Figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing about that next week. Who's next?
I'll go. This week, I'm definitely going to apply to some mentorships, internships for Scrum.
All right. Do you have a number? Put it out there. How many are you applying to?
let's do 4 a day. I
4
feel
a day.
like that's realistic.
Okay. 4 a day. All right. Well, we look forward to hearing about it next week. What you come up with. All
Okay,
right,
I'll go next. Oh, I gotta do better with my silence. I was trying so hard to let everyone
Sit on
else
your hands,
go.
Cindy. Don't fill the vacuum.
My goal for the week is to create more transparency. Previously, prior to this latest reorg, we had a delivery lead who insisted on keeping certain metrics from our stakeholders because of whatever political craziness that he deals with. I actually don't care. I believe in the metrics. I believe in sharing it. It's your job to share it with your stakeholders so they'll know, where you are in this, this estimation game of your roadmap, and they should know the truth of it. And so my goal is to embrace whatever happens after sharing all of the awesomeness of this team. Metrics. Let's see how it goes.
Love it. I love metrics. Again, you got to sell people because they're traumatized by numbers being used against them. So
Yep.
you got to figure out, how do I sell this in a different way?
Yep.
So they really understand the purpose of this. So good luck. Phew. All right. Who's next? We got 2 more folks.
So for my goal for the week is to get my presentations done and to hopefully, obviously my mentor is part of it, but this week I get to handle all the daily stand-up. So I'm hoping that I get to whip my team into shape to be able to get it, time boxed and stuff, and make sure that everyone's like staying on task during the meeting.
Awesome. Well, you got some great suggestions today. So just go out there and give it a try. All right. And lastly, let's see. Eki, you're still with us.
Yes, I'm still here. So
And
my
it's like
goal
12:30 a.m.
yeah, I'm still here. So my goal for this week is I've been so busy. It's just been like firefighting, trying to, get up to speed. But I've told myself this week, I just need to block out some time to read up on the project, read up on the conference page, what has been passed on to me, so that I understand better what it is I'm actually trying to deliver, and work better with the team. I don't want to be sounding so feeling overwhelmed all the time because of all the things. It's just the environment was a bit too chaotic for me. Remember, I said I just joined just a month in this new organization. So my focus this week is to block out some time, read up a lot of things, just so I can understand better what this initiative is all about. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, like I said, the fact that they had you run the PI planning after working there a month, like, wow. And you did it.
I did it. Yeah, I was nervous, but I did it.
Under your belt, right? That's a huge thing to put on your resume. But anyway, yeah, break everything down into small pieces, right? I use Trello. I take these big things, I break them down into tickets, right? And I move them across my board, right? And then you can see, how much you've accomplished and what you're getting stuck on, what you're avoiding. And it there's satisfaction in moving tickets. At least I feel that way.
Great tip. I'll take that on board. Thank you. I'll take that on board.
Yeah, you got to practice what you preach. You break stuff down into smaller pieces, then it's not this big thing that's so overwhelming, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I found it's really helped me. It's helped me get through, things that I'm trying to avoid, and be proud of what I've accomplished, because you get to see that, right? The done list. Look what I did this week, because sometimes you want to focus on the things that you didn't do. So
And it gives you a nice personal anecdote of something that worked for you when trying to sell it to somebody else.
Yes. We're going to embrace sales. Well, all right, folks. So we all have some goals to work on this week. Write it down on your sticky
Wait a
notes.
minute.
Put up on your Trello board. Cindy?
Wait a minute.
Oh no. Do I need to hide under the desk?
We got one more person.
Somehow. But Cindy, thank you, because you gotta walk the walk, right? It's about modeling the agile behavior to the people in front of you that are looking for your guidance. So, what is my goal this week? That's a great question. I'm being put on the spot just like I did with you. Oh dear. Well, as you probably all know, I post LinkedIn content. I've gotten a little behind on it, so I'm really trying to catch up and get ahead of it. I try not to post day of. So, right, because it's always like there's something that comes in the way and then you don't do it. So right now I'm back to posting, like getting my stuff set up in Hootsuite a week in advance. I gotta stick on that path because it's very easy to lose track of it and then just not do it. So it's important to me as an educator to put out that content to help people that are new on their journey. So I'm again I'm gonna get that next week post, so get that next, but I'm working on building a month content calendar. So I'm gonna make progress and I will let you know next week.
Excellent.
So
I
I fell off the bandwagon, but I'm getting back on. As we all do.
I'm serious right there. She fell off the bandwagon. Did you
I
go to a meeting
did.
for that?
I was doing really well with it. And you just get over, you have a lot of other things to do and then it becomes less important. And I've got to keep on my mission, which is to help newbies. So
Do you
looking for
batch?
it.
Do you
I'm
do
sorry?
batching? Do you batch your scheduled posts? Do you batch them?
I do. Well, I put them in Hootsuite. And I used to have like a month ready to go, but now I got behind. So it's like I'm struggling to get a week
Gotcha.
done in advance. So my goal is to get that next week done and then really work on that month content calendar. Because when I was getting ahead of it, I mean, it was so much easier. So
that's true.
Anyway.
Good job. You got it. You can do it.
We can do this.
You
All
can
right.
do it.
Well, have a great week. I will see you all next week and we will keep each other on track with our goals and keep this party going.
Excellent. Every now and then you might not see me on a Tuesday because I do have Toastmasters,
You did,
which I
mention
missed
that.
today because I was not going to miss this first one. But
Yes.
every now and then.
Yes, I understand, right? Keep it on your calendar, right? So it's on there and show up when you can. But if you notice falling off the wagon, ask yourself why, right? Once in a while, not a problem, but the goal is to help create a tight-knit group so we can keep each other on track. So
Great.
I will see you all soon. Have a good evening and have a good week.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye now.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.